can't believe I'm beginning to feel like I really need to put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video, but I'm going to anyways. Okay, here's the whole thing. This is not a review. Don't take it as a review. It's not meant to be that at all. I'm probably going to make a review of this series as soon as I'm done with it. This is a first impressions video. This is my first impressions of each episode of this particular series. And my first impressions are often extreme. They're less balanced than my typical reviews are, unless you're counting my He Is My Master review, which I made like a year ago, which is god-awful because I was so hating on that show. But so far, here's the whole thing with me and what I plan to do with my first impressions videos. This is more of fanboy rants and ravings. If I really like a show so far, I'll tend to rave about it because it's unscripted and I record right after I finish a particular episode. If I hate it, I tend to rant a lot. But sometimes I hate a show and I end up loving it later on. I'm very fickle this way. I'm not going to place any bias on any of you for liking this particular show if I don't like it. This is why opinions are so wonderful, beautiful things that we should all embrace. And I feel I should apologize for making fun of the Lolita peoples of the world, because I kind of make a comment later on that could be very hurtful to your kind, because the fan service in this show creeps me out. Okay, so with that being said, enjoy my first impressions of Magical Lyrical Girl Nanoha. Okay, let's play a little game called Guess That Cliche. Oh, look, she's a magical girl. Oh, look, she ran into some magical talking animal that's going to give her secret powers that she didn't realize she had this untapped magical girl potential, but now she's going to unleash it upon the world, and she's fighting this monster, and then she kills the monster, and then, yay, everybody's happy. And this is my main problem with the show so far. Everybody's way too freaking happy. Her family is like, yay, look at us, we're happy. Look at how happy we are. We're so happy, like all the freaking time. It's not freaking normal. I don't care whose family this is. I don't care if she lives in the most perfect family on the face of the planet. No family functions like this. Her mother and father act as if they're still newlyweds. Her sister and brother are like perfect for a sister and brother. I want to see some bickering start. You know what would really spice this show up? I think there needs to be a magical lyrical girl killer running around who's like, someone's killing off magical lyrical girls. And then all of a sudden it becomes the plot of Watchmen again. You see, my recommendation for all cliche shows is that you just rip off Watchmen. That works the best overall in the grand scheme of things. Literally, is this what constitutes for good anime now? I'm just judging off of the first episode. I haven't seen the whole thing, but you know, from what I've seen so far, this is a 2 out of 5. It's not good. The only thing good about it is the animation, which is still not fantastic. We just found out that the weasel guy is like from some other world, and he was an archaeologist from that world, and there was some jewel that has magical powers or some crap like that. Honestly, this stuff is so freaking dumb, I can hardly. I'll be honest, I'm horribly biased. I'm probably the worst person to review this show. So far, it's just like, you've given me a plate of cliches. Of horrible, horrible, tasteless cliches. And the only thing that's different is that it's aimed at guys now. Okay, magical lyrical girl shows are usually, not magical lyrical, but magical girl shows are usually aimed at young girls. This is a show aimed at teenage guys. So the only difference between this show and those other shows thus far is that there's fan service. Occasionally you'll get the panty shot or the magical lyrical panty shot that's just disturbing, and you just want to jab your eyes out when you see it, unless you're like one of those guys with a Lolita fetish, in which case, ew, gross. I'm sorry, I find you gross. I just do. It's, ugh. That's the only difference. She fought another monster. She decided, oh, I'm going to help out the weasel guy and kill more monsters. I mean, it's the same exact freaking plot. Give us something new. And I'm afraid now, after having said that, I'm going to see something really, really horrible come up. So apparently this is the point where we're supposed to feel emotional attachment to these characters, but I'm just not feeling it at this moment. Nanoha was all sad because she made a mistake and it caused this huge giant forest to sprout out in the middle of the city, which is the biggest ripoff of Cardcaptor Sakura I have ever seen. But she's felt all sad, and the ferret guy was trying to comfort her by licking her, which is kind of disturbing considering that he's still a guy, but in ferret form. So does that mean technically that... Ugh, never mind. I'm just not going to think about that. And, okay, there was this scene in this episode where she kind of forgot that he was a guy in ferret form, and so she kind of just stripped down and put on her pajamas. And I don't care if it's real life, YouTube, or the internet. In a show where the main character is 9 years old, you just don't freaking do that, okay? It's despicable. It's sick. I'm starting to sound like Megas now, but you just don't do that. And in the next episode, hopefully I'll cheer up because there's maids and cat girls, apparently, from what I saw from the preview. So that's going to be pretty awesome because I like maids, and hopefully it'll wash away the... Actually, this episode was really boring outside of everything else. Let me just say that. It was a boring episode. Hardly anything worthwhile happened. I'm waiting for this, supposed plot to pick up, but there really isn't a plot so far. It's just a magical girl show. Well, things are starting to look up. Crap, I said it. Things are starting to look up a little bit. I was still bored, but the introduction of this new blonde-haired character that shows up, Fate, with her really kick-ass wand and, everything, and her cool, awesome, almost Batman-ish personality. In fact, I was so in love with this character the very moment she said a word. I decided I'm going to name her Gotta Love Breath Jr., GLB Jr., and that's what she'll be known for this entire rest of this review. Because you know what? If I had a daughter, I wish she was as cool as Fate is, because Fate is freaking cool. And, there was maids in this episode, and I love maids. Everybody knows I love maids. And unfortunately, there's no cat girls, so I don't know how I got that out of the preview of the last episode, but no cat girls, which is a disappointment. Overall, I think part of my problem is here. And this is just me coming down from all my ranting, taking a deep breath and looking at this whole thing objectively. I'm just finding it boring so far. There's really nothing here that's really pushing me forward saying, you gotta watch more, you gotta watch more. I'm just kind of sitting here going, there's really bad fan service. The characters are grating and they get on your nerves except for Fate, who kicks ass. And the writing is just bad. Anybody could have written this. I'm watching this going, all right, I've written dialogue in fan fiction that's about as believable as this. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem when I'm watching a show and I'm going, all right, the writing's bad, it's unoriginal, the characters are annoying, and there's fan service. It's like there's nothing positive I can say. The animation is good, the music is good, the production is good. That's pretty much all I can say at this point. There's nothing else of any sort of quality, except for Fate, who kicks ass. I'm going to give it more time. I'm going to watch the whole series, as I promised myself, and I'm going to be completely unbiased. Okay, that's a lie. Nobody can be unbiased. It's just, I'm going to keep on going, because I know there's other shows I've watched along these lines that ended up getting better later on. I'm just hoping this will be the case. In this particular episode, I did notice something. If there's any strength the show has really at all so far, it's that it really knows how to direct action sequences. The fight between, the sort of pseudo fight, I should say, between Fate and Nanoha in this episode was really well directed. I thought it was very intense. It was very engaging. And, I like action sequences, and it was the only part throughout the whole episode that I was really like, oh, hold on, wait a second, this is actually kind of entertaining me now. I'm not feeling like going to sleep. Rest of the episode, nah, I felt like going to sleep. It's kind of a very, very sleepy show. I recommend that if you're anything like me, watch the first episode of Nanoha if you're having a lot of trouble going to sleep at night, and it'll probably put you right out.